Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm playing with Scrap a Sketch as a creative team layout for today, and I'm part of their design team. So I do get their printables free of charge to play with. So this is May I Scraplift You Too. So I'm scraplifting the Steak Goddess. She's on Instagram and on YouTube. So make sure you go check her out. And then I'm scrapbooking these 3 photos today where I was at a Use Your Own Product weekend class with Jennifer Edwardson in Calgary. So it was my first long weekend class, so it was lots of fun. I am going to use the I Love Scrapbooking new printables from this month because they're gorgeous, and why wouldn't I? And so I'm going to use Sandi's layout, and I'm going to use all my Scrap a Sketch printables for the Love Scrapbooking. So yeah, I'm just cutting down these photos. These 2 little ones I got off of Instagram because I'm in the pictures, but I didn't take the pictures. So I took them off of Instagram and printed them. So no, they're not the highest quality because I printed them and screenshotted them off of, again, Instagram. But yeah. And then this is the only picture I did take for myself, was the top of my desk. So all good. It is what it is. Funny. So I did decide I wanted these little ones to be smaller. So I am going to have 1 large picture and 2 little ones on mine, where Sandi has just 1 big picture, and that's okay. It takes up about the same real estate on my page, so not a big deal. And then I decided I'm going to back these itty bitty ones in black, and so I think they end up being about 1 inch square, probably 2 inches. Looking at it, about 2 inches. Not quite 2 inches. Not quite 2 inches, but anyways, probably 1.5 inches then. I wasn't looking at my guide while I was doing it. I just was like about here. And then I had this piece of scrap black, so instead of cutting into a new one, I'm just going to cut down my picture just a little bit more, because I totally could. Because why not? There's nothing extra special on there, and there was nothing I cut off, so anyways, so then I'm going to back these all in black, and then it's going to go onto the Love Scrapbooking paper from the collection, and the scissors and all the stuff that's on my desk except for the cardstock came from this collection. So I think there's a couple other things that didn't come from the collection, and I'll point those out to you. So I do play with this a little bit, so I thought maybe underneath, but I didn't like the space in between, and then I moved them in, and I didn't like that either, and I don't know, it was feeling awkward. So then I'm gonna move them up and overlap my other photo, because there's all this dead space here, so why not? And scoot it over. Lots of fussing around on that. Yep, lots of fussing around. I'll get it, and then it'll be good. And I'm going to slice this off a little bit, and those are not going to change now. And then I'm taking a look at, so I do want, Sandi she's got that green background piece. Mine's going to be pink. And then she's got a pink little line of a piece of paper, and then that black, and I'm going to do this stripe with a hint of a black line on the pink paper. So just trying to figure out whereabouts I want it to kind of sit. And I'm going to put down I thought about putting that as a background because Sandi does have probably texture paste, stencil butter, something like that on her green, but I'm not going to do that at the moment. I had debated not doing it at all too, but I do get there in the end. But and then I do like this stripe here, and then I'm going to use the cameras for the bottom half. So I'm going to tape this on as well, and I'm trying to figure out, because I don't want to, it is a printable, so I could totally print this again if I wanted to, but I don't want to waste the paper either. So if I can slice what I can slice, I'm going to. So I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to do with that. I did skip ahead because I did have to find my ruler because it was in a weird spot. so I'm going to draw this line across to get this corner-ish bit. And I'm not sure if this is how Sandi did hers, or if she just did hers a little bit differently. If that whole piece of paper is underneath, that would have been totally easier to do. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. This is how I did it. So I pulled that up because it wasn't quite straight with that black, and I do want that to be fairly even. So that goes on. That looks pretty nifty. And then I'm going to use this camera paper. So I did think about using the piece of paper to trace that line that I had cut, but it's not going to fit exactly anyway. So I'm just going to use my ruler, line this corner up with the edge, and then I'm going to mark where the bottom of the paper is. And then I'm going to take my ruler, bottom, ruler, and I'm going to line up where that corner is, and I'm going to draw this line. And so I can cut that in those two spots, and that gives this top piece pretty much what I needed it for, like to cover. So that worked out pretty good. And then this little piece here, it was causing a divot and it was annoying me. So I just added a little piece of black there because now the corner won't divot. And I can line it up a little bit easier. So that goes on, and then I just need this bottom bit. So I was trying to figure out if I could use that piece, but it's not going to match up quite as well as I wanted it to. So I am trying to match the pattern, but I think I would have had to maybe print this off to match it perfectly again. So that's okay. It doesn't match perfectly. That's okay. I did the line for the angle, and then I'm just taking a look at where the bottom is. I don't need as much as I'm cutting, but that's okay. And that's when I realized, hey, I don't have to go all the way up here. I do realize I don't have to go all the way up there. And that would be okay. And I'm gonna cut this one off, and then that doesn't quite line up perfectly. And so I do know there's going to be some embellishments slid all the way down at the bottom here based on Sandi's layout. So I'm going to slide this down so that I can hide where this doesn't quite match perfectly for that last camera. It's just the bottom row. The next two are okay. Literally just the bottom row, which is okay. I will get there. And then I just needed just the tiniest bit. And then it's just the pink and yellow camera is not perfect. I was thinking about that one. This is going to work just as well. And it's already cut, and on it goes. I don't know why I was fussing so bad on some of this. It wasn't, I don't know. It didn't need to be as fussy as I made it on this day, but it's okay. Right, and then my photo's going to go there, and yay, it's down. And then I have a bunch of the printables on the side here, so I'm going to play and see what I like. And that one's cute. I'm like, I like the apron. The heart's cute. Oh, look, I have one with an apron. I do want something over here because Sandi has a little bit of something over there. And then she's got, kind of looks like a Project Life card, and then like a little tag or something on the bottom there. And then there's a cluster up top. So trying to put my clusters in about the same spot. And I'm just not liking, she's got a little tag there, and I'm not liking that. I get frustrated, and I go, whoosh, all it goes. Because it just wasn't looking like it I wanted it to look like in my head. So I'm going to play a little bit with this, and then my phone's going to ring, and I'm going to answer my phone, and I play a little bit off camera, and now I'm back. Look it. And I put some Nuvo drops on the camera lens there. I cut out those 3 tags, and out of the printed Love Scrapbooking, I fussy cut out a blue Love Scrapbooking to put on the yellow banner, and then I'm pulling out my Nuvo in this yellow. This mousse is almost hard, but I want to use it, so I'm going to take and add a whole bunch of water to it, and I'm going to use my metal spatula palette tool, and I'm going to mix it around, and I'm going to add even more water, but I don't make you watch it all. So, and then mix it and mix it and mix it, and then I can use it again. Yay! So this works if it's not completely dried up, but I don't know if it would work if it was completely dry. But I'm going to have to like focus on using some of these mousses. So, and then this is a Hip Kit Club stencil, and I'm using the hearts because I thought it would be cute. I don't have any Scrap-A-Sketch stencils yet, but Lisa does have some on her website, so you can take a look at that too. But I do not have any yet. So this is cute, and it mimics what Sandi has on hers. I'm not doing my whole page in this. I could have, and that could have used up a lot of that Nuvo mousse, but I didn't want to, so I didn't. But it totally would have been cute. And I hit it with a heat gun, and then that I sped up, obviously, and I cut some of that out. It's still a little tacky and a little wet in some places, but I was being impatient. I want this one done, so I'm going to slide this one underneath. I'm going to put this heart here. I'm going to put the pink one on too. I'm going to put this container of stuff and the tag. It has a couple little hearts on it, but they're going to get covered up. I'm going to use a glue dot for the camera, and it's going to cover up where that overlap is. Then some washi tape is going to go on here, and some tape. And then I like that cluster quite a bit now. So yay, walking away for a couple days really did help. And I'm seeing what is wet and going, can I put this stuff on here yet? Nope, I've got this other corner to do. So the 2 ink pads and this yellow button are gonna go over here. Just trimming off a little more of the white on the button. And that works out good. And then I fussy cut out of that piece of scrap this heart scrapbooking. And then I thought these 3 tags with the hearts on them could be up here in that cluster. Then I decided I would like a little more of this. And I didn't really pay attention to where it was overlapping, so it kind of make a mess. But tis this layout today, but that's okay. So I got all of that. So that one kind of did a bit of a mess. And then I have some of it that's overlapping. So I try to bring it up and it makes an even bigger mess. And then I use a wet wipe and then it smears. It's okay, but it's a little shiny, but I'm not as worried about it now. And then I make a bigger mess of it in a minute. So I'm gonna glue these tags together, and I like that. I did hole punch them with a really, really tiny hole punch that I have, which I have never had a use for until these little tags, so yay. And then this little heart's gonna sneak underneath the scrapbooking on this yellow banner, and that's super cute, and this is gonna go on top. I like that a lot, and it's gonna go a little bit lower than I had anticipated to cover up those 4 or 5 hearts that overlap. And I'm going to use glue dots on this too. And right there, because then it overlaps those hearts. And yay. And then I'm going to do some ribbon in my tag holes. So this is also not a printable, obviously. So I think this came from probably Michael's, and it's old as the hills. I'm going to put this in. I'm going to use my tiny attacher to attach that ribbon, which was fine. And then I'm going to do a whole bunch of ribbon to go through these 3. Which is good. And then, oh, do I make a boo-boo? So, first problem is I run out of tiny staples, and then I don't know where my tiny attacher staple refills are. And I have a lot of them, but I don't know where they are. So that one worked with the tiny attacher. And then now I don't have any in there. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then try to do it. Didn't realize on the long piece that it only did the first one. So then I went and found this other staple because I literally could not find the other ones, and I don't like that staple very much, but I'm gonna have to live with it. And I'm like, oh, okay, so how do I do here? So then I tried glue, and this ribbon is too thick, does not want to sit for glue. And I try and make it stick, and it won't stick. It literally will not stick. So I'm like, all right, now what? So I want this to like twist and have some swirly movement. And then I realized that this pink mini stapler is probably like my school stapler, and I can open it up. But the first time I try that is where it's still wet and it tears a hole in my page. And I'm like, ugh, where it's shiny even. So it works here, and it's gonna work. And so I'm doing it through the foam so that I can fold the pieces over so that if it doesn't go in exactly where I want it to, I can fix it. And so now I cleaned up a little bit, and now I'm going to steal some of the pink from the back side underneath the black so I can repair the hole. So that piece is going to go in there. So I'm just going to trim it down and sneak it in. And man, of things. I thought maybe behind, but it's shiny, and I don't like the shiny, and the shiny is not rubbed. Like, it was annoying. So I'm going to do a little bit more of this to decide how I'm going to deal with that spot, which is going to be to put a patch on it, but annoying. And then that one didn't go through exactly where I wanted it to, so I just pulled it out and put it in where I wanted it to go, and then bent over the staple backs. So that works out okay. Of all things. And so I want this to do a crossover, but I do know it's wet. And so I am going to pull out one staple and not use the stapler. And I'm going to slide this piece in. And so this is going to get glued on. So I know it's going to be a little bit wet. So I don't want the force of the actual stapler to like rip an even bigger hole in it. So I don't know what I was looking at there. And so there, that piece is on. Yay! And then I'm going to use one of the ones I pulled out here. I just need some more foam underneath so I can get it exactly where I want it on the end. And then one more is I'm gonna put it over top where it kind of makes a knot and fold those over. And that works better. And then I want to hide that patch just a little bit more, so the apron's going to go there, but then that feels a little unbalanced. So the printer's going to come underneath, and that'll work. And I like it. It's a lot bigger than the cluster that Sandi has, but that's okay. It is what it is. And then I'm going to do a little bit of journaling. And this says, my first full weekend scrap class, UYOP with Jennifer Edwardson. If you've never done a class with Jennifer Edwardson and you get a chance, definitely take one of her classes. Just know that it is super fast and you won't finish any of the layouts, or probably any of the layouts, because they go that fast. And so you'll have some stuff to do after you get home. But she does like, I think it was over 30 layouts in 2 days. So I think it was 15 and 15, 20 and 20. It was something crazy. Like lots of layouts were done. I can't even remember how many on one weekend. So yay. And then I'm putting some of the Blizzard Nouveau drops that were on the camera lens everywhere else. And so here is some close-ups. Yay. And such pretty printables. I'm glad I get to play with them, but it was just somewhat of a hot mess for me for this one, but I hope you enjoyed it. So if you did, I would love a thumbs up. There will be a discount code here for the month of May, right here. It's Scrap40, and it's 40% off books, printables, and stencils, and it's good till the next week, I think. Yep, for another week. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and there's some more videos here if you would like to watch. Thank you so much for watching. Have yourself a great day.